Hey everybody, it's your girl Taylor Nicole, as well as the other co-hosts here with the Styles, and we want to thank y'all so much for joining us for episode 2 of our new season. Devin is the one who had a one-on-one this week.
Yes, I had the lovely pleasure of interviewing two guys, Oh, yeah, you're right.
Well, you guys definitely stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Hi, welcome to the Style Center. It's your girl, Devin Dion, here with Zay.
Hey.
So, tell us a little about you. Do you call yourself an printing service? Do you call yourself a boutique?
Actually, Kencade is a brand. It's a clothing line, just like, Ralph Lauren and Tommy Hilfiger. Like, Kencade is the brand itself.
Okay, so the first question is, where did the name come from, Kencade, and your name is Zay?
Well, Kencade came from, it's actually my brother's middle name.
Really?
Yeah, like my middle name is Delane, and I wanted to use my middle name, and it was already taken. It's like some guy, he makes like women purses and shoes, and they was like, well, you can use it, but like later on down the line, if he decides to sue you, he can win. So I was like, okay. And so like since my name was already taken, I was like, well, I'm gonna use my brother's middle name. Looked it up, it wasn't taken. And I ran with it. And I fell in love, cause with my name, I thought about it for a couple, it took me a while to get used to it.
It didn't really fit.
Yeah, it didn't. I was like, yeah. It took a while, it took a while to resonate with me. So after a couple days, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go with it. And then it was taken, so like I said, Kencade, as soon as I thought about it, it instantly hit me, I like that. Cause I wanted a name that would look good on the t-shirt, but also would look good on the suit. Like I said, Ralph Lauren, when it comes to fashion,
yes,
he's the model. And that horse look good on a t-shirt, a polo, or a suit, it don't matter. And that's what I wanted with my brand. I wanted a logo and a name that would, just resonate across the board. So that's why I came up with Kencade.
How does your brother feel about you?
He loved it. He loved it. Because initially, the whole idea really stemmed from him. Because I never really wanted to start my own clothing line. I just felt like it was too many people doing it. So I really didn't want to do it. I was like, I'd just rather work for Reebok and Rockaway. This is back in 07. So those were the two brands. Because the respect I have for Allen Iverson and Jay-Z. So I was like, I just want to be the lead designer at those two brands. I'd be good. And then my brother, he was like, hey man, have you ever thought about, doing a clothing line? So that's how the whole idea even came about. So when I used his middle name, he was fine with it.
So it's safe to say your brother inspired the whole collection.
Yeah. You can say that. You can say that.
Are y'all really close?
Yeah, absolutely. He's like a year older than me. That's my favorite person in the whole wide world. So that's where the whole inspiration came from.
So when it comes to new collections, does he have a say so, or is all just you and the name? He get the credit for
he just the name. He just let me do my thing. He just trusts what I'm doing. He don't really say anything. He liked it. When I show him stuff, he love it. He be in love with it. But for the most part, he just let me do my thing and just run off with the name. And the crazy part about it is, it's also my uncle's middle name. My mom named Delane. That's one of my uncle's middle names. Kencade is one of my uncle's middle names. So my uncle. When he first found out what I was doing, he was like, oh man, you gotta let me get his shirt and you gotta let me do it. He was like, man, you took my name. So he's more enthusiastic about it than my brother is actually.
So how long has Kencade been a brand?
Since 2013.
So you got some years in this.
Yeah. I'm still learning every day. Every day, I'm always learning. I feel like you can never know too much, so I'm always learning new stuff and still trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? As far as taking my brand to for my brand to be a global brand, because I want to be the most. I want my brand's name to be the most prominent name in fashion. You know what I'm saying? So,
but when you choosing a name for a brand or a collection or anything, it has to capture you. And when I hear Kencade, I want to know, what does Kencade offer? Just hearing the name, what items do you have to offer? What's your style?
Right now, we're just doing T-shirts, but I do plan on expanding into a full brand, a full line. But right now, I'm just doing the whole T-shirt thing.
So 2019, you're gonna expand. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did you actually start? Was it help from family, sponsor, or you got a job and you fronted your own money?
Yeah, that's pretty much. I got a job. Because I knew, starting a brand, it's going to take money. And I knew, ain't nobody just going to be willing to, just put any kind of money into you. So it was just really one of those things where I working myself, and I just started using the money from my job to just you know, fund my business. Pretty much, that's how I started.
So, what are you known for? Like, I know you do shirts, but is it like a signature design that everyone, like, when you see it, like the shirt you have on now, do they know that's Kencade?
Yes, people know this definitely. They definitely know this Kencade, but like my logo tee is like my most popular tee. Specifically like the black on black. I did like a black on black colorway like a couple years ago. Like people still, and I did a Career Council one as well. Those two are like the most popular t-shirts amongst my brand. But mainly I just do like my logo, and people love it. Like, 'cause they love my logo. People love my logo. They love to see the different colors that I be playing with. So mainly it's just the logo tee.
And did you get a local graphic designer to help you out with that, or?
I designed it myself. Like everything, like
okay,
like the logo.
then you did it yourself.
Nah, because I was just, because like I'm a a little bit of an artist, so it was just something I was working on myself, and it was so crazy because like coming up with a name was the hardest part. Like every time I got a name, then I go look it up and it was already taken. It was like So finally when I got a name, it made that design the logo so much easier once I got a name.
And when you first said the name to like your friends, your family, was it like puzzling, or did they automatically feel it too? Did it click with them?
Nah, you know what? Actually, it was well received. Everybody knew once I explained them, what I was trying to do, and like I said, I wanted a logo that can, look good all across the board, and the name. Everybody understood it. So like everybody, like the reaction was phenomenal. Everybody loved it off the bat.
So for those out there who want to launch a brand and get started, and they want to get years under their belt like you, what advice do you have for them?
Man, just make sure you're passionate about it. Like, just make sure it's something you really want to do. Like, you already heard people say, like, don't chase the paper, chase the dream. But nobody never really, like, get in depth on what that means. And, like, what I perceived it to be is, like, when you only chasing the money, you're only doing something for the money. So the first time you run into any kind of roadblock or adversity, you know what I'm saying, you turn around because, like, you only doing it for the money. So, like, I don't want to go through that. Like, nah, I'm finna get out there and start doing this. Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you when you just chasing the money. But when you chasing the dream, anytime there's a roadblock, you're going to figure out, okay, am I going to go to the right, to the left, over or under? Like, you're going to figure out how to, just to maneuver through adversity, through the storm. So that's my advice to them. Just make sure whatever you do, you really passionate about, and it's something you really want to do. Don't just do it because it's trendy or somebody said, but like, just make sure it's something you passionate about. You can wake up and see yourself going to work doing this every day.
And I know you said you're artistic, you're creative. So are you more hands-on with the shirts? Do you do them by yourself, or do you go through a distributor?
I go through a distributor. I go through Spikener in Midtown.
Shout out to Spikener.
Yeah, black owned.
Yes, but are you still able to see profit by going through a distributor?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you struggle with people trying to get you to go cheaper? Because, like, I do shirts myself, and a lot of times people try to talk you down on your price, and it's hard to stay firm because you're like, I'm trying to get these orders, but this is what I want for this shirt. Do you kind of adjust, or you stand firm with your price?
Like in the beginning, it was kind of like that. It was kind of struggling, especially like from friends and family, because they always want the discount. But like once I started doing more stuff, like where people started taking me serious, and I started standing by those prices, and they kind of just adjusted. They knew, like, okay, this is what I'm charging. It is what it is. Like, either you gonna get it or not. So I mean, people understood it. You know what I'm saying? People didn't really take offense to it. But like in the beginning, it was kind of a struggle.
Because you want people to support you, and you don't want people to like, oh, well, he didn't lower the price for me.
Yeah, that's how they are. This is like, especially like with our own people, like they are like they'll go in Macy's and all these other stores and drop a bag, but then they won't. When they come to you, they want they want the 5-figure discount. It's like, what I'm saying? Like, I just watch you go in Foot Locker, and you didn't ask for nothing. You just paid,
You just said, y'all got coupons in here?
Nothing. So like, don't come to me with that. But like, people knew, like, once they start, taking me more serious, they had no problem with doing that.
So for those out there looking for a Kencade design, how do they reach you?
KencadeApparel.com. And you can follow me on not all social media sites, but Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Kencade Apparel.
All right. Shout out to Zay for stopping by with us. Be sure to check out every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Comcast 31. Stay stylish, y'all.
Wait to see you when the sun comes peeking over the horizon. Girl, if you wanna stay, I'll put you on my plane. First class, one way for the rest of your life. Just you and I. First class, one way. Wide awake, you still sleep, and I just can't help but stare. Don't wanna go nowhere, don't wanna go nowhere. Just wanna pull your body back and proceed to play your hair. Don't wanna go nowhere, don't wanna go nowhere. I wish I didn't have to go anywhere. Don't wanna go nowhere, don't wanna go, I gotta go.
Greetings, I'm Javonna Love, the owner and creative designer of Handmade with Love 901, where you'll find unique jewelry pieces, crochet accessories, natural skincare products, ethnic attire, and exclusive artwork, all designed with eccentric soul in mind. I also provide memorable paint parties and custom jewelry parties. Find and follow me on Facebook and Instagram as Handmade with Love 901, and visit my website www.handmadewithlove901.com and check out what's new. Peace, y'all. Hi, welcome to the Style Center. I'm here with Ty Parker. Say hello.
How you guys doing?
For those who don't know you, what do you do?
So I'm currently an acting model and an actor, but also teach acting and modeling classes to some folks that are interested in getting into the industry.
And how long have you been teaching classes?
So the class is probably about 2 years now, but I was doing it way before that. When I didn't know I was doing it. I had a lot of ladies wanted to know how to walk in fashion shows, and so I would kind of like, mimic the walk, tell them to put the heels on, and I would raise my feet up, like I'm standing on my tippy toes, and show them like, hey, this is what you need to do to kind of get them, ready for the fashion shows.
And how are you the go-to person? How did the women know to contact you for help?
Good question. So how that started was, like you kind of get thrown into something. I actually went to Orlando. I had no experience in modeling at all. But I went down to Orlando to see one of my best friends, and a friend of mine from high school lived there. She knew I was in town, so she said, hey, I got a fashion show I'm going to. I want to invite you guys out. So what happened was we ended up going, and then at the end of the show, the guy says, the MC says, if you're interested in modeling, please come up to the stage. So I wasn't interested in modeling, but my best friend's girlfriend was. So she was nervous to go up, and I'm like, yo, I got you. So I went up to the guy and said, my best friend's girl. Before I could finish, he stopped me and said, why aren't you in New York? I said, no, that's not for me. I said, this is for my girl. So we got the number, and I gave it to her. And so this was in Orlando, Florida. But I flew back to Nashville, Tennessee. And so a month went by, and then another month went by, and I'm itching. I'm like, what did he mean by that? So I ended up calling my best friend and said, hey, does she still have that number? So he said, yeah. So I got the number, and I called the guy.
That's crazy that it was still on your mind.
It was on my mind, because I was like, what does he mean by that? I'm sitting here like, I just went down there just to go visit. So I called him up, and this was in like January. So he said, how fast can you get to New York? I said, this is a 3-day weekend coming up. It was MLK Day in 2007. So what I did was I said, man, I can get out there this weekend or next weekend. Booked the flight, got there. That's when everything started for me. This guy was The Voice. That's what he calls himself. His name is Kyle Abercrombie. Not only could he...
His name sounds important.
Oh, man. So he had The Voice, and he was the guy that would be the MC for all the fashion shows in New Jersey and New York. So he would be the one that people would call, and he'd be the person walking down the runway, in the elegant dress, that kind of thing. And so he taught me how to position myself into walking in fashion shows. Not only did he do that, unbeknownst to me, he told me to jump into a fashion show. So he took me around to get into a fashion show. I had never walked before. I had never been to a fashion show other than the one in Orlando. And what he did was he introduced me to this guy named Andre Leon Talley. Didn't know who this guy was.
Wow.
This guy's a mogul in fashion.
Yes. How did you not know who
I
he
didn't
was?
know who he was because I wasn't a fashion guy. I played basketball. So I was into sports. Didn't care about fashion or modeling or acting, any of that. So I did one of his shows, and I had this long black, like a long black jacket from out of what's that? The Matrix, and some red glasses on. And I did the show. Everybody's like, "You did a great job," and this was unexperienced. Didn't have any experience at all. But from that point on,
You became the coach.
I started learning how to walk. I started learning how to look at things and say, okay, that didn't look right. How do we fix it? Got back to Nashville, and that was just the first part of it. Got back to Nashville and did a couple fashion shows. You know, I'm like, oh, got fashion shows at TSU, so Tennessee State University, all black school. So I went there, did the shows, and I started getting more experience, and I started seeing like, mostly because of like mostly women in the shows. I was like, man, she's bouncing too much. Man, she's doing this. And people would hear me say that, make those comments. And so they're like, well, why don't you show her what she's supposed to do? And so I started doing that. And so
people think that bounce walk is it. But
no, you got to control it. You got to control it. And in certain shows, it might be okay. But if you want to get paid and do it professionally, it's a balance to it.
When I'm in the audience watching the show, and this is not a word, I just made it up. Jigulation, all that. I don't want to see it.
The jigulation. Or the other one like that. Right. Every step is a jiggle.
Yes,
absolutely.
It's too much.
Yeah.
And then like when I go to fashion shows, I always think high fashion and runway editorial. That's what I think. So I'm like, you wouldn't see Tyra do this.
And see, she's got a presence. Like, that's what I would watch too. She created that show, Top Model. And sometimes I watch that and I get some really good ideas from that show when I'm especially teaching the class.
So you could teach me how to smile with my eyes?
I could teach you how to smile. What she call it, schmize.
Smize?
You know? Yeah. So basically what it was just somebody trying, just coaching the ladies when they were on the runway, because you want to show and you want it to look professional, especially if it's Tars talked about being professional. You don't want the show to look like it's not a good show. So basically what it is, it's everybody's got their own walk. You got your own walk. It's just how do you bring it in, like any professional anything. It's you have to work on the small things to perfect it. And that's what I would do in class.
So would you call yourself a pro? You've been doing it for years now. So
man, I've been doing fashion shows for over 10 years now. Yeah. So I haven't done any like New York fashion shows, but I've done a lot of Nashville fashion weeks. I've done a lot of shows around. So I'm a pretty good walker. I actually won a competition in Florida. It was a fashion competition. I had the best walk, and I actually, got an award out of the whole deal. Check this out. Before the show started, there was this guy. We were all going to our rooms and stuff like that. There's a guy walking in front of me. And I said, man, I hope he's not in this competition because he had a great walk. Like, you just tell he was putting on a show. Everybody's just going to the room. And I was like, this little Asian guy, I said, I hope he's not in the show. So come to find out, he was the trainer for the Victoria's Secret models.
wow.
When I did my walk at practice, he says, I don't have to work with you. You already got it down. But every single male model and some of the girl models that walked through, he had to tell them, this is what you need to work on. This is what you need to do.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Oh, it was one of the coolest things that I got because I had to look him up. I was like, who is this guy? And you could see his stats. He coached, I can't think of the names, but they were Victoria's Secret models.
Probably like Chanel Iman.
And that's one of those. Yeah. So I was like, man, that was awesome that I got a compliment from this guy.
Yeah. So for those who want to look you up, they want to Google you, find you on social media, get in contact, see what you got going, get into one of your modeling or acting classes, where can the people find you at?
All right. So I'm in Nashville. You can look me up on Facebook at Ty Parker or on Instagram at Tyback1. And hit me up at the agencies too if you're looking to book. Dan Talent Group in Nashville, Tennessee, or Colors Agency here in Memphis.
All right. Thank you for stopping by.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Be sure to check out the Style Center every Wednesday. Comcast 31. Stay stylish, y'all.
Hi, I'm Monica Queen of AskQueen.com. Textured hair is on the rise, and as it increases, your knowledge of it should too. My tip for you today is focus only on your hair texture, not someone else's. Focusing on your texture increases the likeliness that you'll be satisfied with the results of your hair. I'm Monica Queen. Log on to AskQueen.com, the website below, if you have any further questions.
I'm still here with Ty Parker. We're going to get into his transformation from modeling into acting. Before we get into that, when you first started, I heard you say 2007?
Yes. So in 2007.
Is that when you first got signed?
So in 2007 is when I first got signed with an agency in Nashville. It was Dan Talent Group. And yeah, that's that. I mean, literally.
You still with them?
I'm still with them. Yeah, with the same. Now I've done some things with some other agencies. I mean, this is a marketing thing. So if you're able to be marketed, you want to try to hit every stream that you can get, because there's so many different ways that you can generate revenue. But yeah, once 2007 hit, can I tell you the story how that happened? Okay, so I told you earlier about going to Orlando and getting the contact information for the guy that was in New York. All right, so at the end of the day, it was all about getting into a competition. So it was an organization called New Day Associates. The publisher of Today's Black Women, what else does he do? He does a few of the Hype Hair magazine. Okay, so they put on a show every single year. It's a competition for models, actors, and talent. So I went up there from January to April, every single month, to prepare for that competition that was in New Jersey.
Wow.
Not only did I learn how to walk the runway, I learned about fashion, I learned how to dress, I learned how to be around certain entertainers, not to get like starstruck.
Be a groupie.
Be a groupie. But at the end of the day, there was over 500 contestants in the competition. It was a male, female winner. It was actually first place, second place, and third place winners for each category, males and women. And I came out first. So I won my first modeling competition and the very first modeling thing I ever stepped foot in. Got a opportunity to go to Paris. Met a whole bunch of entertainers.
Just a guy from Nashville.
Just a guy from Nashville. Had no idea that this thing would go in 10 years, I think 12 years, maybe 12 years now, or something like that. Maybe I got my math wrong, but I've still been doing this. Yeah.
And this all started from you trying to help your friend's girlfriend. Like, oh, you shy? I'm going to speak up for you.
Right.
And it just was like.
I was trying to help somebody else out.
Someone saw something in you, and then it made you curious, like, hey, let me see if this is really worth giving it a shot.
Absolutely. Let me tell you what happened to her. So my best friend's girlfriend, later, she actually went on Tyra Banks' show, the America's Top Model.
Really?
She was on one of the, I can't remember which one it was, but she went on for one season. Yeah, so it kind of worked out for both of us, So
like, hey, she got confidence from it. She went on a TV show. That's a big deal. So you're not shy. You have to perform in front of professionals now.
Exactly. Yeah, and like this was before, Facebook, Instagram. I think we had MySpace back then.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big thing.
And then from modeling into being in campaigns shown all over the world, and now acting. How did you get to this point?
That's okay. So
you're in a movie. You're not.
Yeah, my very first movie was the Hannah Montana movie, what she did in Nashville, Tennessee. I think it was called Hannah Montana. So I was just a featured extra in there, but I was in the room with her. I was in the room with Vanessa Williams, a few other actors that are still on TV to this day and in movies and a lot of commercials. And we were just standing in line, and Miley Cyrus walked by, and I was just smiling, and I said something to her. She goes, "You look like Will Smith when you smile." And I was like, "That's my cousin." I was like, okay, we're good now. You know, Miley Cyrus spoke to me. So that was the first time like a star had said anything, because we're not supposed to talk on set.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, Miley, how you doing? And that's when she said that. But the whole acting thing came in with my agency. So
Colors?
Nope.
Or Dan
Talent in Nashville. And I had an agent that was working with me. He saw something in me, and I paid for the classes. So I was paying for the acting classes, and I was going to the classes every single week. You had to take 8. I was on my 4th class, and he was like, "I got an audition for you." I was like, "Okay."
Before you even finished?
Before I even finished the classes, went to the audition, and let me tell you, I had a fro. My mustache, my beard was all out of place. I didn't have time to go get a haircut. So I went to the audition. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna get this. You know, I'm looking busted. But I went into the audition, and they were like, this is what we want you to do. I was the only person that improvised, like having something in their hand. The script said, you're holding a box, and then this was your line. So I went in there, I acted like I was picking up this box, and 2 days later, agent calls, you got the job. I'm sitting next to this guy named Armie Hammer. He's this huge movie star now. So he's been on the Entourage. He did some stuff. There's a movie out right now. It's like the sex story or something like that. He's in that. And I'm like, man, I was sitting right next to this guy.
We were starting at the same time.
At the same time. We were eating steak together when I ate meat.
I just had the box in my hand. He didn't.
The director mentioned, he said, man, you were the only person that like actually acted out the character. And that's when my acting stuff started. And
that's what separated you from the others. You really paid attention to detail, and you followed the instructions.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing with any casting director, even for being a model. If you can't listen, then you're not going to get booked. Because what they want to do is they want to work with people that they like, that they can trust, and that can listen. And just think about it, you got all these cameras coming from LA, they're shooting a movie, and these cameras cost millions of dollars. So their time is precious. So if they got somebody that's on set that's not paying attention, that's not listening, they're wasting time, they're wasting money, because they're bringing all these cameras out, you know, to Nashville or to Georgia or to Louisiana, and you know, they want to be able to see that I have somebody in front of me that's a professional. You know, we can still act up and have some scenes they got to be edited or cut out, but at the end of the day, it's, hey, who are we working with?
They're working with Ty Parker.
I'm here.
And do you have any specials going on or any classes that are going on now? How do you separate acting and modeling classes, or are they worked in together?
All right, so classes are every single week. I got them right now, Mondays or not Mondays, but Wednesdays and Thursdays. And I'm working with a few people, but one in particular, she's a comedian, and we're trying to work on her stage presence. But outside of that, if it wasn't just her, then it's open for acting and modeling in the same class. Unless you have something specific that you want to work on, then we pick a specific day that works for you.
But they really go hand in hand, because when you're modeling, you're acting as the pieces, the garment, you have to flow the way the garment flows.
Absolutely.
So I get why you mix them in together.
Absolutely. You learn something from both sides of it. And that's exactly what I did. You get your most experience when you're in front of the camera. I can't teach you certain things when you get on set, because you're an individual. So if you get on set and you're not paying attention, you know, I'll teach you like discipline. It's like you have to do these things. But it's your choice once you get on stage. I'll give you an example. I can teach you how to walk, but I can't teach you about how you manage that when you get on the stage or you get in front of that camera. So it's all about preparation. We do it as much as we can until you feel confident enough. Literally, I had people say, well, I can do that. I can do that. You can teach me how to walk on the runway before I go out there. But I guarantee you, 100% of the time, I show you how to do it. As soon as you hit the runway, it all goes out the window.
Yes.
All goes out the window. So the preparation and just working on your craft is.
And also, you don't want to do it right before the runway. You want to actually practice. Practice does make perfect.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I did. Anytime I saw a mirror, anytime there was a long hallway, that's exactly what I did. I just walked back and forth, or just did my walk. You know, and in acting, it's just being in front of the mirror and just going over different expressions. Yeah, I booked a gig with Lifeway in Nashville just off expressions when we did the audition. They said, "Tell me about yourself." And so you have to do something totally different from what everybody else is doing. And so it's, you see the camera, so now what do? You know, so you have to do these expressions that say, look sad, look mad, you're happy. You got to be able to do that and not look the same for each one.
So wow, I'm really just taking in all this information. I do appreciate you stopping by, taking time out your schedule to check in with the Style Center.
Oh yeah.
Y'all be sure to follow Ty Park on all social media. Be sure to follow L3 Television. Check in every Wednesday, Kencade 31, and stay stylish.
Well, guys, that's our show. I hope you all enjoyed episode 2 of the Style Center.
We want to thank y'all again so much for continuing to keep up with us on our social media. Continue to like and share. You can follow us at L3 Television on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And be sure to tune in for next week's episode as we get the high tea hats and heels.
Check your local listings every Wednesday. Kencade. We're shown in 6 states. Stay tuned in. Stay stylish too.
See ya.
Baby, I came running every time you call. I used to hold you, kiss you for no reason.